Hey, happy, I don't know, what day is it? What day is today? Nobody knows. So last time I made an Italian dish, which was just pasta and potatoes. You guys loved it. And I always think that it is way too simple. But I was like, hey, you know what? If you guys enjoyed it, I'll come and teach you another very simple Italian dish. So let me know if you're catching this live or in replay. And we're doing pasta e polpettini, okay? So I remember when I was growing up, my mom used to make these tiny little baby meatballs, and they would go in some broth and with some pasta. So if you love like soups and warm and comforting foods, then stick around and I'll teach you this. Like, I think it's always too simple, but you know what? I see a lot of simple things out there, and maybe I'm just overthinking it. So if you like simple, let me know, and I'll show you. So basically, you already have some broth. I just chopped up some parsley. You already have some broth going here. Chicken broth, vegetable broth, your own broth. Doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously, it'll change the flavor depending on the broth that you use. And then we have 1 pound of ground beef right here. So we're going to make these little tiny meatballs, okay? I have 1 egg in here. That is very expensive these days, right? The prices are not going down. We're going to add some Parmigiano. All right. I don't know about you guys, but when I don't feel like my best, or my kids don't feel their best, or whatever, it's always, we need some kind of broth and pasta. And so last time it was pasta e patate, which is pasta with potatoes. I know many of you guys were like, what? Pasta and potatoes? I never had that. But it looks like many of you guys tried it, which is really fun. So the other alternative is, pastina, which is just a little pasta. Or in this case, pasta e polpettini, which is these tiny little meatballs. They cook super fast because they're little and cute in some broth with some pasta. Okay, that's literally it. It is super simple. So the way I do my little meatballs, that's how I've been doing them since since I knew how to make meatballs, since my daddy told me, is just some ground beef, some fresh parsley. I have mine frozen. I keep mine frozen, and then I just pull a couple pieces just from the freezer. We got an egg. The egg helps bind it. We got some Parmigiano, and then here's like the Italian version, okay? We don't really use breadcrumbs. I mean, you can, right, if you're making a lot. But the other thing that they do that I learned growing up, it's even better if it's old bread. It's la mollica del pane, which is basically just the inside, like this, right, of bread. Or it could be the outside too. You just want to pick it and make it really, really small, and that adds some moisture, and it makes your little meatballs nice and fluffy, okay? It just takes it to the next level. So if you have some old bread laying around, that works too, but you don't need breadcrumbs necessarily if you don't want to, okay? Especially if you've got rid of some bread, this is a great way to just kind of fluff up your meatballs as well. In Germany, growing up in Germany, they're like meatballs are same thing, a little different. They like to soak their bread in milk and then put it in with their meat mixture. So it's like chili, right? There's 50,000 varieties on how to make them. So I'm just crumbling up some bread. I don't have measurements for things like that. A lot of Italian recipes that I know growing up, I don't have recipes. I just learned by watching and trying, okay? So I'm going to make a little meatballs here. Get that in there. The smaller, the better. If you have a lot of patience, you can make them really small. And you can just use some old bread as well, okay? So if you love pasta, put pasta in the chat. It's like pasta dishes are pretty cheap. You can stretch your dollar. I don't really do it for that. It's just very simple to do some pasta dishes, right? All right, let's see what's happening out there. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Hello. Thanks for popping in. All right, So I think that's probably about good. We're gonna make these little tiny meatballs. Now I'm gonna use the little small scoop that I have, small baby scoop, and then we're just gonna dump them right in the broth. And because the meatballs are really small, they're gonna cook pretty fast. So we're gonna cook those for about like 10 minutes. And then we're gonna add our small pasta, our pastina. New Hampshire's in the house, yay, I love it. Or orzo, pastina, any type of small pasta will do in this case. All right, so we're gonna mix this all up. And the goal when you make your little meatballs is that if it's too moist, if you added too many eggs or something, add a little bit more bread. If it's too dry, you add more egg, right? That's kind of like the go-to. If you want it cheesier, you add even more Parmigiano, Parmesan cheese, whatever you want to call it. This looks pretty good. If not, if you need some measurements, just message me and I can help you with that as well. Make your little paste. Oh, you know what I did forget is salt, but since I don't want to touch my, what's my salt? Salty salt. Where's my other salt? All right, well, guess we'll have to get rid of this one and get another one. Okay, so don't forget your salt, obviously, and your pepper. Season it. Okay, and since I'm here, I'm gonna add a little bit more bread and then mix it up one more time. This is like feel me good, comfort food, right? Diana, hi, I love pasta. Yes, hi from Mississippi is in the house. All right, let me get another glove here. Mix it up one more time, and then we'll start dropping these little meatballs in it. Just like I said, cook those meatballs for like 10 minutes. Whatever broth you want is in here. If you're just tuning in, we're making pasta polpettini, which is literally just pasta and broth. Just sounds fancy, yeah? Pasta polpettini, right? If I say it in Italian. Just a little comfort food. So you can make your own broth. When I make my chicken, I make my own broth when I do like a whole chicken. But today I'm just using bouillon powder, whatever it's called. Make these little meatballs and just drop them in. So very quick. This is very cheap, depending on your ground beef prices. You could do ground turkey if you wanted to. Little meatballs. My family loves anything with pasta and broth. That's how my kids grew up. If you are an Italian child, you get pastina like the moment you can eat something. You get that in Italy before you get any oatmeal or anything like that. You get pastina. It's like your first meal. Gotta have pasta in your blood. Just get these little meatballs and just start dropping them in there. And then at the end, you'll just add your little pasta. And it's a nice, comforting meal. You could add some more veggies if you wanted to. I'm just doing broth. You could literally just have some fun with it. You don't need the little scoopy, but I find it makes it so they're all kind of the same size. So I can make sure they all cook the same, okay? Florida is in the house. Yes, yes. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. If you guys appreciate these simple Italian dishes that I learned growing up in Europe, let me know too. Because I'm like, maybe I'm boring people, I don't know. But then I see people do all the simple stuff and they're like blowing up. And I was like, maybe people do want some simple cheap meals that aren't American. I don't know. Maybe you do want to try different things. Let me know if you tried the pasta and potatoes, pasta patate. That's one of Gigi's favorites. Tortellini soup. It's a very favorite here at my house. I'll probably do with less meat, but I have it, so we're gonna go with it, okay? This is one of my favorite pots right here, this size. It's like not small, but not big. It's in one of our new cookware lines, the Non-Stick Brilliance cookware line. I don't know. It's just like my go-to. It's become my go-to for sure. What are you guys having for dinner? What's for dinner at your house? Hi, Brittany. Hi, Rosie. Thanks for popping in. What's for dinner at your houses? It's a little early, right? But we like to eat early. Tuesdays are very busy with after-school activities, so I like to get it out of the way. A lot of times I do slow cooker meals on Tuesdays, so I can prep it in the morning, and it's kind of ready to go. You know what I mean? So what's for dinner at your house? What are we eating these days? This is also good to get rid of old bread, like I said, or stale bread. You could use that in your meatballs as well. And who doesn't like meatballs? I could eat meatballs just like that. I can eat them with sauce. I can eat them in the soup. I can eat them anywhere. Right? Who doesn't love polpettini? Polpettini is small meatballs. Polpetta is a regular meatball, and then polpettone is the big meatball. We just changed the ending to make them small, medium, or large. Homemade vodka sauce. Ooh, with sausage and rigatoni. I'm gonna come to Lisa's house. That sounds delicious. Do you guys want to know a fun fact? Like for those of you guys that are new here, I was born and raised in Germany up until I was, how old was I? 23. And then I moved to the US, but my parents are Italian, so my passport's always been Italian. I spoke Italian before I spoke German. So I have never, growing up, I think it's a regional thing. I love it, don't get me wrong. I have never growing up have my Italian parents or aunts or nonna or whatever, I have never had vodka sauce until I got to the States. I love it, it's delicious, it's easy to make. I've never had it growing up in Europe. Never seen it on a menu over there. So I don't know if it's a regional thing or if it's like an Italian-American thing, right? There's a lot of that too. But it's delicious. Hi, Katie. Thanks for popping in. Hi, Gina. Thanks for joining us. We're making pasta polpettini, which is just broth, pasta, and some little meatballs. All right, we're there. We made it. All right, so I'm gonna let this cook for about like 10 minutes or so, just to get these nice and cooking a little bit. And then we are going to add some, in this case, orzo pasta, which is basically the Italian rice, okay? Just like that. And then we're gonna add it at the end. We'll top it with some Parmigiano, a little bit of olive oil. That's how you finish. Every Italian broth gets finished with some Parmesan and olive oil. And then we're gonna have that. So let me know if this was valuable. I don't know. I think it's very simple, but let me know if that was helpful and maybe get you to try something out. Yeah, my gluten-free friends. How can you make it gluten-free? No bread, gluten-free bread, and I don't know, gluten-free pasta, I guess. Could probably work, right? So, all right, well, let me know if you have any questions, comment below. Let me know if this was valuable, if you appreciate these simple Italian recipes that I grew up on. Looks great. Yay, awesome. All right, well, I'm gonna let this cook and I hope you guys have a good night. Ciao, ciao.